1, 2, 3. Okay. Gosh, it's impossible. A few weeks ago, I was in Sweden and I shot some portraits of my grandma, which are now my favorite photos of her. I want to show you these photos and I want to show you what I think worked and what didn't. But first, I want to tell you about this camera that I shot them on. This is the Hasselblad 500cm. A variation of this camera took pictures on the moon for the very first time. So you've definitely seen pictures from a camera like this. If you don't know anything about film or photography, that's totally fine. Here's just a couple things to note about this camera specifically. It shoots in medium format, which means that the size of the film in this is much larger than a 35mm film. So you have a much higher resolution, which we'll get back to later. It also takes photos in a perfect square. It's called 6x6, so it's a 1-to-1 ratio. And I'll talk more about this camera in a different video, but this specific one that I'm shooting on was made in 1973 and is completely mechanical. It takes some of the sharpest, most beautiful pictures that I've ever taken. So like I said, I was in Sweden with my family a couple weeks ago. This is my grandma. Say hi, Grandma.
Hi, Grandma.
And we're in Sweden right now. Sweden is where a lot of my ancestors are from, and my grandma's ancestors specifically. The house that we visited is one that my family lived in for generations and generations.
Some part of our family lived here at some point in time, always.
My family no longer has any immediate connection to that house, but I've been able to actually visit it twice, and this was my second time. I want to take some photos of my grandma on medium format film while we're here. How's that sound?
Sounds perfect.
I don't know what it is about Sweden, but it's just better here. The sunlight, even when it's harsh, is somehow soft. So, my grandma and I have been here before. So we've had this whole tour, we've seen all this stuff. So I'm trying to grab these photos while everyone else is trying to get the tour. It's really difficult, really difficult. I lost Grandma again. So some of my family was there who hasn't visited it before. And I was trying to take these pictures in this house of my grandma while the rest of my family was cruising around the house, which was incredibly stressful. There's just a lot of little things to remember. You have to take out this dark slide when you go to shoot. I almost every time I forget to take out my dark slide. So I just go 1, 2, 3, and then I go, oh, hold on. 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. Like I said, everything is manual on this. So dialing in focus, exposure, making sure your film is loaded properly is a big process. So I'm gonna put it at f4, 125. And it's easy to miss something if you're not really, really dialed in. 1, 2, 3. I'm basically saying all of that as an excuse for why I composed a couple of these photos really poorly. I don't know why I pointed so far up. I decided I was gonna put my grandma's face in the center of the frame since that's the sharpest part. The good thing is I can crop in on them and kind of salvage them. I think the core of the photo is really nice.
Just really nice, huh?
It's really nice. I kind of want to take one more of you in this room.
Oh, okay.
A little closer up. I know you hate getting your photos taken.
I do, absolutely.
I'll tell you in just one sec. You look amazing. Look at the, look at that.
Here, I'm looking at the picture.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Okay, cool. As for the cinestill, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't do any research beforehand. I thought, it's 800T, let's see what happens. 1, 2, 3. So now looking at the photos, it's very obvious that there's this strong red halation from direct sunlight. So when I shoot more of this film, I'm definitely gonna take that into account and try to shoot in less harsh lighting or less direct conditions. Look how low the ceiling is.
Oh, look at this.
I can't stand up straight in here. You've got an extra foot above your head. We're gonna try to do 1, 2, 3. One thing to think about as well if you're shooting 800T is that I'm currently in Lisbon and I went to get the film developed. They said that they couldn't do it and absolutely nowhere in Lisbon does it. So I actually had to send this with someone back to the US. It might be a little bit trickier to find a place that processes it, but I do think it's beautiful. So because of that, I actually have another roll in here right now that I'm mostly through shooting, but have not been able to develop. And there's one photo on that roll that I took of my grandma that I really, really want to see because I have a feeling it might be one of my favorites. This is a video of me taking the photo, but it's still sealed up inside this camera for now.
Okay, we can use that one for my obituary.
So if you follow me on Instagram or maybe on the community tab on YouTube, I'll post that image when I get it. I definitely want to play around with cinestill in different lighting. I know that it's 800T for tungsten, and so I would love to shoot with tungsten lighting, but I think it's kind of fun to just shoot it outside of what it says to do and see what happens, and that's what happened this time. Thanks for watching. If you like this, subscribe, and I'll be posting more. Bye.